Hi everyone, welcome back to Get Ready With Me, Louise. So I was really thinking of a video idea and I couldn't think of one. And then I thought, well, I'll recreate a look that I would have done on Valentine's Day if I went somewhere or did something, But then I just never did it. Well, then I was watching another YouTuber and she was discussing things that people don't talk about when they start to age. And the gist of it was like, we hear about wrinkles and our skin sagging and all that, loss of firmness and stuff. And all the things that we try to do, like we know all that, whether it be procedures or skincare or whatever it may be. She said, but at the end of the day, if you don't love yourself, you're going to pick yourself apart no matter what. And that really stuck with me. So today's video is going to be about loving yourself, self-love. And while I'm doing this eye, we're going to talk about it. So the palette that I'm going to use, believe it or not, I have never used. And it is called the Sultry Palette. Now this seems to be a lot of people's #1 favorite palette. And it looks like this. And it is a limited edition palette. I didn't get it when it first released. Funny story. I got 2 of them when they released in a collection for Christmas a year ago, I think. I ordered one from the ABH site, one from the Ulta site. And the reason being, I knew I did this, but the Ulta order I thought was being rerouted back to them. And it scared me because I really wanted this palette, so I just went ahead and ordered it off the ABH site. But let's go ahead and get started. The first shade I'm going to go into is Birch. So I ordered it off the ABH site. And then it ended up that I did get the palette from Ulta also, so I got 2 of them. Right? So I was like, man, I'm hoping, that I like this palette since I got 2 of them, right? And of course, from what I understand, if you never open it, the expiration doesn't go bad until, I guess, you open it. I'm hoping. But anyway, so luckily I actually do like this palette a lot. And I actually feel kind of pretty in it, in this particular look. So that's a good thing. So anyway, about loving yourself. I really believe she is right. It is the most important thing. And as we get older, we realize that we're not what we used to be. But that doesn't mean that we're not better or the same, at the same time. I feel like as we age, we get better. We get wiser. We sort of calm down a little bit, maybe. It's like we get prettier inside almost. And it radiates on the outside. Now, there are exceptions to that, obviously, because there are some mean people in the world, obviously. But for the most part, that's what I notice. I feel like if, you're aging, I feel like the ones that are nice and good-hearted age gracefully. I mean, if they're not having procedures, so to say. And, I mean, even if they are, they're still, pretty. But because I feel like self-love is a big thing due to the fact that if you don't love yourself, not only are you going to pick yourself apart, but it's going to show on the outside too. You know what I mean? And I hate that because I know that, I'll be real, I don't love myself. The next shade I'm going to go into is Bloom. And I know this about myself. Like, it's something that I really do want to work on, is self-love. Self-love and respecting myself. Those are really the 2 things that I really, really do want to work on this year. I don't know how, but I do want to work on them. And I know I really thought about this. Like, it's really set heavy on me, this conversation she started. And I know there's a lot of women out there that, that are probably in the same position as me. I mean, I hope not, obviously. And I'm sure they're in worse positions, you know? I I don't know. I don't know when it, and then I don't know when it started either. Like, I've really thought about this. Like, how do you get self-love? When does it start? When did it end? Did it ever exist? You know, do you not get into your older? Like, when does it happen? I guess, you know? But I was really thinking about it, and I'm going to put bloom on the lower lash line. Because, like, as a teenager, obviously, I was so I had no self-esteem at all. So I know what that's like. And I do wish I could go back and say, girl, you're good. You know what I mean? No, you may not be like other girls, but you're good. Trust me. And even, like, I used to weigh 400 pounds almost. And I lost the weight. And even when I lost, like, I got down to really, like, almost 175. And even there, when I was at 175, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm ugly, I'm fat. Like, I was still picking myself apart. And I'm like, what? I lost the weight. Why am I still doing this to myself, you know? And she's right. It's because I didn't love myself. And I don't know how, I guess, either. Which then brings me to, how can you love others if you don't even love yourself? You know that saying. You know what I mean? Is that true? Like, I'm really, like, questioning everything now in a sense. Because it's like my eyes are open. Like, I know I don't. You know what I mean? I don't know how to fix it. I know it's going to take time. I guess recognizing it is your first start in a sense, but like, I hate that that's, I guess, put into our head, you know, that we're not good enough as women and aging and all that, because that's not the truth. We are still pretty. You know what I mean? I think with me, a lot of it is because I've always just been in the background. No matter how hard I tried, you know what I mean? If I studied real hard and got better grades than my brother, like, it wasn't good enough. Because he never had to study and I did, you know? He was always better, no matter what it was. And maybe it was because, you know, he was more of an emotional person and I'm not. I don't know. With my parents, you know, or my mother, really. Yes, we got mommy issues here on this channel. But then I think about, okay, the relationship I'm in now. I'm never the one to say I love you first, you know. Obviously, I love my fiance, you know, but I don't initiate it, so to say. And I feel like it's because I'm not deserving of it, maybe. I don't know. Like, this is really sad with me, and I'm wondering how many other people it sits with when you really sit down and just think about self-love. Because we are, honestly, our biggest enemies as, you know, individuals. Like, I'm my biggest enemy, hands down. I'm going to go into the color Slate now. But do you have the same issues? Like, do you have, you know, whether it be low self-esteem or self-love, like, or do you love yourself? Are you okay with yourself? And if you are, that's wonderful. I'm happy. But how did you come to that? Or did you always have it? Were you born and instilled with it? That's the thing. I don't think I was instilled with that. It was never good enough when it came to me. And then it's proceeded through, obviously, my relationships. And sometimes that can get you in trouble, and it has, you know, gotten me in trouble at times. It still gets me in trouble. because I don't, you know, respect myself. I don't love myself. I don't believe I'm deserving. And, you know, people do kind of walk all over me. And, like, I don't want that. I don't want my daughter to see that. I don't want her to feel either one of my daughters. And I know my oldest one does see it out of me. I know that. My youngest is too little still to understand. But, like, I don't want men to treat them bad and them thinking that it's okay. Or society to say they're not pretty enough or good enough. Because that's not the case either. I don't know. What do you all do? I'm going to go into cyborg. Like, how do you handle it? I mean, in the video, it was like, say I love you in the mirror to yourself. Boost yourself up type of thing. And I can do that, but I don't think I'd ever believe it. She says over time you will believe it. But I don't know. Like, I am curious about it. Because how can you believe something? Like, I can tell myself that, or I'm good enough. But when you're always told you're not good enough. And I do understand as you get older, you just don't care. But I think that's the other thing, I do care. Unfortunately, I'm one of them people that do care what people think for whatever the reason. Are you one of those people? Do you care what people think, or are you the ones that are like, whatever, go F off, you know, type of thing? I do think as we get older, I know for me, I've had to stop and go back to the basics, to be honest. It's like you really do have to just stop, and I'm going to go into the color slate and take it on my lash line, on my bottom lash line, and sort of just say, you know, you are worth it type of thing, you know? Like, you do have to just stop and go back to the basics. And I wonder if that is the way it goes for everybody, though, or if the ones that are instilled that they're good enough, or does everybody have those thoughts that they're not good enough for, like, no matter who you are. And I do wonder that. Like, no matter who you are, whether you're the, you know, most prettiest woman in the world, do you doubt yourself? Do you think you are the pretty? You know what I mean? Or if you're the smartest person in the world, do you really think you're the smartest, or do you think you're not? Type of thing. I don't know. I'm going to put the color Pearl in my inner corner. But I do wonder when that was supposed to be installed in us. To love ourselves. To be okay with ourselves. That we are good enough as we are. At any age. Because, like, I got two girls. One's older, one's younger. You know? And I definitely don't want them to feel like they're not pretty enough or they're not good enough. And I know children, you sort of mock their parents, you know what I mean? They raise them in the way that their parents raised them. And, I mean, I didn't necessarily do that because, like, I feel like my mother favored my brother a lot. But, again, maybe that's because he always ran to her type of thing. I don't know. But it's just my perception of growing up. That's why I tell my kids I don't like none of them. None of them are my favorite. I don't like any of them. Joking, of course. I love my children. That's what I'm saying. I don't want them to ever feel like I feel. or be treated the way I'm treated. Now, younger, anytime. I want them to have respect for themselves and trust themselves. Like, I don't even trust myself anymore making decisions because I'm so scared I'm going to make the wrong decision, you know? Because it was like every decision I did make was the wrong decision in my parents' eyes. And then now it's my fiance, everything's my fault. If I didn't do this, then he wouldn't have did that type of thing, you know? There's the good and the bad. And I do understand, but I don't know. Oh, and I know that, like, I do show love differently, but I think that's because of the way I was raised, too. Like, I'm not a very verbal person when it comes to that. Like, I'm not going to walk around 100 times a day and say, I love you. But, you know, have your breakfast made and your clothes ready for the next morning type of thing, and dinner on the table when you come home. Sort of. But, like, I don't know. Like, how do you get to the point of self-love if you're there? And if you're not, maybe we can take this journey together. Because it is a journey, I know that. But I'm ready to take it. I'm ready to love myself. I'm ready to respect myself. And I think we all should be ready, no matter what age. But especially now, as I'm older, I only have this life to live. And whatever it is, whatever my path, whatever my journey, I feel like it's time. Because I'm not getting any younger. And my body is going to change yet again. Through menopause and everything. And it's like, I just want to do something with my life, you know? I'm sure we all feel that way. And I hope that most have, you know, found their dream. I really do. And living it out. Due to the fact that we only have one life, you know? For the bottom lashes, I use the MAC Extended Play. For the top lashes, I use this. What is this? Eyes to Kill. For my top lashes, I don't mind it. It's a sample size. Or travel, whatever you want to call it. I like it so far. I mean, I can definitely see my lashes as far as that goes. And it doesn't seem to be flaking or any of that. Or smudging. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Be honest, like this side over here looks pretty good, and then this side doesn't. I don't know. I'll let you all decide, I suppose. Alright. But that's all I was thinking about, and I just wanted to put it out there. What do you all think? First off, let me say that if I was going out for Valentine's Day, I kind of like this eye look. Number one. Number two, I think I love the Sultry Palette too. I think it's a good one. If you can get your hands on it, I would definitely suggest get it. And again, if we're going back to the basics with makeup even, ABH was one of the first, you know? And yes, their eyeshadows are powdery and stuff, but they're blendable. They're buildable. They're, you know, they're great for beginning. And they're great for any occasion, really. And all the palettes are set for a different thing, you know what I mean? So I do believe that it's easy to work with if you're a beginner, and you'll be good if you got it. I think tomorrow I might try the Soft Glam. I've never used it either. I know. I need help. I can't believe I've never used these palettes. But let me know how you love yourself. Or if you don't, maybe you got some ideas. Throw them at me. Put them down in the comments. Let's have a discussion. Because I do feel like it's not talked about enough. I have to agree with her. And I mean, of course, there's so much as we age that we don't talk about. I mean, just the changing in our personalities, our body, our hormones, our sexuality, all that changes as we get older. You know, we're not kids anymore. We're not teenagers. And actually, at each age, I've realized it. Like, when I hit my 20s to when I hit my 30, you know? Like, I was like, whew. 30s were hard, to be honest. 20s weren't too bad. 30s were bad. And right as I was turning 40, I was like, okay, I'm ready for it. You know, I braced myself. I was scared of it, but I braced myself and I was ready for it. But then it was like, I don't know what happened. But something happened. Something changed. And I was in 2 car accidents. I don't know if that had something to do with it or if it's just hormones. But something did change. And I'm 42 and I'm realizing it. But at 40, I did change again. And I know that. But I'm picking myself apart a lot more, I think, is what it is. But anyway, I'll let you go. I'll let you sit with that thought. Let me know down in the comments. And it's February, the month of love, and I just feel like who better to love than ourselves? But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, hit all. That way you're notified when I do upload again. I will upload, I think, maybe not tomorrow, but the next day. And then we'll discuss this more. Because I do want to try this, where we just look in a mirror and say, I love myself. You know, you're pretty. You're good enough. And every day say it and see where we get with it. I'd like to take that journey with you. But until the next one, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.